It's right here. Welcome back to VinzTalk, where I just rant because I guess this is just like my rant series where, it's whatever I make is therapeutic. A lot of times when I do the whole Let's Read, and I probably should make a video about the reasons why I still do the Let's Reads. But most of it is because you guys keep asking for more, but also it's because that there's a reason within like how I just couldn't quit doing my kind of content that I've been doing for the longest time. Now for my second channel, I kind of like stopped doing the whole reactions thing. But within this channel, there's part of me where I can still move on and still enjoy myself doing YouTube, even though there's parts of me where I have this mental reason of just like, damn, I what am I doing this for, that kind of deal. And I just basically just have fun. Reason why I've been like doing this whole because no, most of you guys notice the whole thing with the whole I make silly comments, I dick around a lot, I make fun of whoever's on the screen. That's my only reason to have fun with any of these reads in a moment or a time where this channel is just not doing well. And I don't know what to do with this channel. I really want to do something more to actually upgrade, my content, or to, upgrade my viewership or something like that. But so far, it's kind of just like been hit or miss for the most part, because I don't even know what to really is trending or what's really up for anything at this point. Because for the most part, it's just like, man, like I'm still doing the same old thing that I've been doing for years. And there's times where I'm just like, will there ever be a chance to move on or anything like that? I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going through. But yeah, other than that, we're about to get into this. I hope everyone had a good Valentine's. I guess that's still a thing, Valentine's itself, because apparently, listen, I'm single. This whole channel, now thinking about it, is basically the whole joke of me being single. It's literally like, oh, this guy reacting to romances because he's probably going through a lot. And you're probably not wrong, because maybe that's what is going on, okay? Maybe I stopped doing these videos because I'm just tired of being single. Maybe that's what it is. And man, it hit me. It hit me the moment I go to work, the moment I go this and seeing people dressed in colors and, going to class and see people dressed pink and stuff like that. I'm just like, damn, what am I doing with myself? You know what I mean? But yeah, pretty much a lonely Valentine's, to the point where I just didn't record anything. Usually I record a lot of stuff on Wednesday because, there was Valentine's on a Wednesday. And yeah, I just didn't record a lot, which is supposed to be something I'm supposed to say at the first of this video. Yeah, not a lot of videos. I don't think that's ever a surprise, because I stopped with the, letting you guys know, like, hey guys, no videos. But the thing is that it's a matter of like who really cares at this point. I don't know. I'm just trying to find out who cares or who loves me, or it's just like I'm in this. I don't know what's going on. If I gotta be honest here, and I might as well just say, like, I just feel alone. Like, I feel lost. That's what's going on. And I probably should change that at some point, because, the only change I can make it is through myself. But other than that, let's talk about, I guess, something less depressing, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, happy Valentine's to those that celebrate or whatever. Single awareness, I hope that's still a thing, because it should be. It should be. I'm aware. I'm single and I'm aware. What I did do in Valentine's is I did streams, so that was kind of fun. But let's go on to some news, because we got some interesting stuff, some spicy, very questionable stuff. Spicy and questionable. Okay, take those words with a grain of salt, because man, oh man, when it comes down to anything I talk about, and this is like a disclaimer, I'm not really filled in 100%, okay? Everything I'm giving you basically an eaten rib, an eaten pizza, okay? I'm not giving you the whole pizza. I'm not giving you the whole freaking shebang bang, okay? It's like everything I just give you, it's just always like half, like a half-ass everything when it comes down to talking about certain topics. That's why you don't see me talking about them during when they're like really happening and stuff. Like the whole Xbox thing. Yeah, I never really paid attention. I was playing a game like it's a podcast. Like, of course, I'm doing something while listening to this podcast. You think I'm just gonna listen the whole way through? No, I need to play some games. And I probably listened more of the people reacting to it, which is funny. They're reacting to a podcast that they thought it was like a direct or whatever, but it ain't. But other than that, let's do this. We got something in the bag here, and I guess the news part, the serious part, is gonna get through it. One political part, and one part that is an update to another part that I talked about recently. One of them is like Vaush, the leftist, which I don't now realize like I don't really follow a lot of leftist like YouTubers or anything because they're always like beyond controversial. I mean, I say the same thing for the old rights as well, like the Quartering or whatever, and Matt Walsh, very controversial. But these guys being controversial, I don't know what it is. There's a part of me where I kind of just don't follow them at some point, but here we go. Vaush apparently likes horses, which you know what? Yeah, I guess he's a brony because he's into horse, but he's into being a horse at the same time having certain, certain what's with a woman. Like it's like that's weird. But then it gets into the whole thing, and mind you, I heard this all from Boogie. Yeah, I still follow him. Yes, I'm one of those people that watch his downfall, but I'm just still like, I heard this all from Boogie, and you can watch his video about this, okay? But what is it? Like he's into like the certain kind of corn thingy thing with the SP and thingy thing. There you go. That's my best way of explaining it because I can't really give you the whole entirety of like, because again, I'm an easy target for YouTube, okay? And when I'm an easy target for YouTube for taking me down because I'm talking about certain things, I guarantee you there will not be anyone else caring about me when I freaking like die off this platform. I've been terminated 3 times. I'm not going to be terminated for, okay? I'm sorry, not 2 times. I'm not going to be terminated for a 3rd time. It's not going to happen, okay? I'm such an easy target for you. YouTube can literally snipe this channel. And we will just be all like, just moving on, like as if nothing happens, as if like, okay, yeah, my freaking 4 years of life work is gone, and it's just like a normal thing. It's just like a normal thing, I just can't deal with that. So I'm being very, like, very PG, G-rated, freaking G-rated, like Looney Tunes, Tom Jerry, I'm old, freaking G-rated here, okay? Like, I'm talking about, like, a freaking Minions movie. So, yeah, that's what basically happened to whole Vaush on, like, he's into this and that. Just look it up. And I heard he got along pretty much, like, as well as, like, people that agree with him that are also being called out, towards this whole thing with Vaush being into horses and into CP, with Tipster and Keffels. And pretty much, these are channels. Listen, I don't follow Keffels. I keep getting warned about, like, oh, you shouldn't follow her and this and that, even though I support a lot of, like, trans, like, creators and stuff like that. But it's just one of those where it's like, man, should I, look, my community, the LGBT, plus community, is like, it's so mixed with so many crazy people. I'm sorry. Okay, listen, I have the rights to say this. We're kind of crazy. Okay, just look at my past Vince talks. Look at what I read. People, I don't blame them if they look at me and be like sus. I don't blame them because maybe that's how we are. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe it's just me thinking that. But at the same time, I'm all about living through the truth, knowing the truth, and calling it out. What I will call out is Tipster, a YouTuber that I get along with, that I love watching his live streams and gaming stuff and all that, and pretty much whatever brings to the table. Like he's a good guy. He's a dope guy, And I always, maybe I knew, like maybe I'm tracking myself through like what Tipster said or the controversies that he went through, but this is speculation to its finest. With Tipster agreeing, like, Vaush, like, pretty much about with the whole thing CP, like, it's no problem. And I don't know. Again, I'm giving you half-baked beans, okay? I'm giving you a freaking spare rib with no meat because I don't know. This is just from my speculation, but it's like Tipster did, from what I recall, like, a long time ago, said something about, nothing wrong with this and this, showing this art via Twitter, and it's like something, this and this with a kid and this, like, oh, it's not real, this and stuff like that. So, you know what? I'm trying my best to, be clean, G-rated, freaking Minions, freaking Teen Titans going with this, okay? I'm sorry. But a lot of times with this whole Vaush thing, with the whole, like, I don't support that, with the whole CP, like, Like when it comes down to this disturbing kind of like stuff that you're into and stuff like that, people can be into anything. Look at what I'm into when I read stuff, or at least lack of, or sometimes like this and that, or sometimes not, because I think the whole purpose of this channel itself, when it comes down to the stuff that I read, I'm supposed to blush, but not all of them are blushy, not all of them are cutesy. Some of them are just like, okay, this is wrong. I'm sorry, this is wrong. And sometimes I have to blur them out, and sometimes I'll be like, yeah, and people are just transparent to share the message. But then again, there's this part of me where it's like, this is not right. This is sinful. This is just wrong. This is just like, and I'm not trying to call out YouTube. I'm not trying to call out anybody, even Tipster. I'm not trying to call out him or Vaush even, or nobody. But who really cares? They don't watch my stuff. But at the same time, I try to be reasonable. I try to see like the proof for the pudding. And most of the times when some people are doing something that is kind of sketch and very troubling to look at, there's a part of me where I'm just like, I don't know about this. This is just not right. It's like I just feel like, there's a part of me that I feel like they should be called out for it or shouldn't. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone that is a better judge than me, for sure. It's just that when I heard this whole Vaush thing and stuff like that, and trolls, especially within this community of the left, it's always something weird going on. It's always something weird, and I really try to understand, like, why though? Like, why does this happen? Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the news I heard, because I don't follow a lot of the left, what they, put out there, to be honest, especially for a conservative kind of like, bisexual like me. But at the same time, it's just like, yeah, it's just out there in the open to see for more judgment, but we're just gonna have to wait and see to actually see more evidence surround if especially with Vaush, a person that I don't follow. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the best like I can actually give. Okay, I hope they don't see this. Okay, I'm sorry if I listen. This is not me that is actually just knowing this stuff from Tipster, Keffels, Vaush, or whoever. It's from other people. It's not my speculation. It's from other people. Okay, not me. I'm not a news. I'm not a freaking work for no freaking TMZ or nothing like that. No. This is just from what I heard my ears from someone else's mouth. Okay, someone else's mouth. Anyways, back to my whole thing with the news stuff, and we just knocked that one down. Next up, we're gonna go into the whole thing about like what is it, like Tucker Carlson? Like he just interviewed like that guy. I'm not going to say his name. Again, YouTube's on to me. Okay? If I dare go full on Fox News or anything like that and talk about controversial stuff, like what I'm doing right now recently, like, yeah, I'm being very careful, but he's talking about that guy. The guy, like the freaking, like, mad Disney villain of Russia. So, and Tucker Carlson did an interview of, Poopin. That's his name now. Poopin. All right? There. That's a better way. If Disney villain, shoot. No, Poopin. Okay? So, Tucker Carlson interviewed Vladimir Poopin, and pretty much, yeah, that's just it. That's just what I'm giving you. But it's crazy. It's like you went that far to actually, and the thing is that Poopin didn't even, like, speak any Lincoln English. I'm like, I thought Russians were actually somewhat good at knowing how to speak the language, something like that. Because it is somewhat counted in Western or something like, maybe not. I don't know. Never been to Russia. Yeah, Poopin got interviewed. Next up, let's talk about an update that is a little bit more lighthearted and less tense and less, less unrated. Doki Bird, aka Silent, well, Doki Bird for now, happens to hit 500,000 subs. Well, I saw her streams. She was cool. Listen, but that whole thing that happened to Doki Bird is utterly effed up. What she said is that no one else is not supposed to know about this. Which, I don't blame her, but at the same time, it's kind of like this. Like, you're going through some internal stuff. Look at what I'm going through. A lot of times, you can just look through the VinzTalks that I've been doing for all of these years, and you can tell what I'm going through. You can tell what I'm really going through. And sometimes, at least what I'm, hoping and praying for is that it doesn't go overboard. There's some people that are so depressed to the point where they hospitalize themselves, and that just this crazy stuff happened. They go into like a certain phase in their life where they just can't take it anymore. They just can't take it anymore. And if you know what I know, it's a dark spot, and I hope that I don't go into that route. There's times where I worried about my friends. Shout out to Stefan. I always try to keep an eye on him because he's been through those phases for a lot. It's pretty much a lot of people can go through depression and stuff like this. Mental health is very important. And Doki Bird, it's good to see her doing okay, but what she went through, man, that's a lot. And keeping that all bottled in is not gonna help it, in my opinion. In my opinion, okay? I guarantee you, Doki Bird, like from what I heard, like she would block people, even if they're like being nice. At least that's what I heard. Again, just like the whole Vaush thing. I'm talking about it's from my ears from hearing someone else say it. Okay, I'm not the freaking source, but like you can't keep that bottle in. And from I don't know how old Doki Bird is. Maybe she's too young to actually really go through a lot of this. Me almost like being 30, like I pretty much have a good grip of life. But there's some things that is just like this happened and that happened, some expected stuff. Recently, when my grandma passed away, like I'd never ever expect that to happen, but never expected to hit me in a certain way where it's like, damn, it pretty much anything can happen. But it's important to actually just in my opinion, get it out there, because you can be alone physically, but a lot of times within the social media world, in the online world, you don't need to be alone. It's kind of like, this place can be your own therapy if anyone can hear it and understand what you're going through. A lot of times it's hard for me to be vocal about what I'm going through. But this is why this VinzTalk is important. There's a numerous amount of things why this segment in this series in my channel is important, because it lets you guys know what's going on with me, only for my sake. And it should be good for your sake to let people know what you're going through, even though you meant to keep that all hidden and for business reasons. And also another thing, screw Ninja Sanji, okay? These business out here, first off, you're getting better numbers. You're doing better without them. So Doki Bird is actually doing good. A lot of times, never trust no damn company out there that is trying to buy you or whatever. That's why I didn't care to actually be sponsored by a webtoon anymore, because I'm out here doing my own thing. And a lot of times, I don't rely on YouTube to ever actually gain my success for stuff that I want to do, because sometimes that success doesn't amount to happiness. It amounts to other things, and it's definitely not money. But a lot of things, it just doesn't amount to happiness. And especially money. Pretty much that leads to it, but you know what I mean. So yeah, good to see Doki Bird doing good. It's just I heard this whole news a lot, and also her opinion about this whole thing. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. I couldn't imagine anyone that young going through this. Then again, I don't know how, but she's one of those YouTubers that I seen, other, VTubers, stuff like that, which I don't follow, but I'm starting to follow. One of them was what is it? Serena. So maybe Underhill counts as like a VTuber that I follow, but other than that, I don't really follow much of it. But seeing Doki Bird doing good, I mean, that's good to hear. At least there's a happy ending to this. I don't know if there's gonna be some quarter or something like that. She said something about letting it go, which what? I mean, what are you gonna do? That's the best way to go for it. Anyways, moving on. We got some gaming news around here, and pretty much, I hopefully get through them before my accent goes full overboard. Okay, I'm sorry. My Italian American accent it gets annoying. I understand that, but what do you want from me? Anyways, let's go with here. We got also there's a flood watch. Yay! I don't know what's happening in California. What's happening to the weather out there? Can it just be summer already? This is the house that I moved in, and I just moved in here for maybe 2 months at this point, and I love it here. It's a perfect place for summer, let me tell you that. Okay? Anyways, moving on. We got the Xbox podcast that just happened. And let me tell you, I don't know really much of what's happened at all, but I can only tell you that, like, what is it, 4 games that are gonna be like, non-exclusives, and also a bunch of other stuff surrounding the Xbox podcast that's heavily more detailed that other people are explaining it way better than I could. But the gist is like 4 games, pretty much like they didn't say the big titles, but it is a lot of PR talk. It's a lot of like, yeah, I don't really understand what is the angle that they're trying to go with here. Maybe they're trying to be human with it. They're trying to put the podcast with it. And explanation of just like this whole thing of Xbox like dying, and just like, at least that's what I heard. Okay, again, like, I keep hearing Xbox is dead. Xbox is gotta go this, there's no Xbox. And I kind of see that, because it's like, why do I want to buy the Xbox when I can just buy a Switch or a PS5, which I'm working on? It's not easy, but I'm working on getting a PS5 soon. Okay, and we're gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, it's like Xbox is just, you don't need an Xbox. You can just have a PC. Halo is already available on the Steam, but it seems like you don't need an Xbox itself to have it. So what does that say for the continuation of the series? Like, there's a Switch 2 coming up. There's like also some announcements about the PS6 question mark, because PS5 said something about announcements of major franchise and expected declines and yada yada and all that. Like, so Xbox, what is going on there? Are they still gonna have that road they're gonna cross to the next generation? Because it seems like they're not doing good in this generation with their games or selection, or just stuff that's just like lacking, and just like, and for me, I personally, listen, the only thing Xbox that I own is the freaking controllers. I love those Xbox controllers. I play on my PC all day, every day. And they got some good games and stuff like that. I'm still on the Halo road, trying to finish, like, up to Halo 2 to go to Halo 3. I'm still behind. But at the same time, it's like, what's going on within Xbox? What is happening within their whole, like, shtick from franchises, stuff like that? Because it's just like, either like, it goes so many places of just like, then again, I pretty much didn't hear a full detail of the whole podcast. It's a podcast, so I pretty much play a game and pretty much look at people's reactions surrounding this. But man, also they mentioned Power World, which I guess is going to be on Xbox or something. But man, Xbox is on this decline, and it's just like, what is going to change it? And I can think of many ideas, but what is really going to change it, or what are they really? Is it a tactic that they're going for the next generation? I doubt it. But other than that, PlayStation, because I did say something about PlayStation announcing no major franchises and expecting declines of their sales, which is outrageous. Because I'm like, this is PlayStation. This PS5 is selling good as it is. Okay? You know why? Because the person that is yelling in this mic is going to get one. You're welcome, PlayStation. I'm working on it, but you're welcome. Okay? In the future, I hope to God I play that Ratchet and Clank. I need that. I need that. But at the same time, yeah, PlayStation announcing like no major franchise, which is like no big deal. It's just that when PlayStation brings out some big news, I swear, you better not freaking like not have those consoles in stores. You better keep building those consoles, because I want to build some not now, wild content. What the heck, Twitter? Listen, you better be not like, canceling no damn PlayStation 5 out there. I'm trying to get one. Okay? Don't, like, literally, when I hear major news, sometimes I get like, PCs, I get a little scared for it. Because I'm like, it could be a news about like, ladies and gentlemen, PlayStation 5 had discontinued their sales. I'm like, no, keep the sales. PlayStation, no. Okay, I'm telling this to PlayStation. I'm telling this to Sony. Sony, you better hold that door. Okay, hold the gates. I am running towards the gates. You better hold the gates, okay? Do not close it. Don't let me die out here. Okay, that freaking poison smoke is coming right at me. It's coming right at me. And I'm running for old dear life so I can enter the gates of the PS5. That's a dream. And I've been pretty much mumbling about it for those longest times. Now is the time. Okay? Life is short. I'm trying to get this PS5 before I die. Okay, I'm just being honest here. Okay, at any point I can try to get it. I'm doing these major jobs and major stuff that I'm doing to freaking get it. This revenue is coming in checks, but at the same time, at least I'm getting money to actually somewhat get it. That is gonna be the purpose for it. But when they announced the freaking no major franchise, I mean, okay, yeah, whatever. I guess we're not gonna get a Sly 5. Cool. But at the same time, decline of sales. Get out of here, PS. People are still buying PS5. You think the whole universe has PS5s? Nope, it ain't that easy. You think it's that easy to actually even own one at all, let alone trying to buy one, let alone trying to make money to buy one? It's not easy, okay? Anyways, moving on. Speaking of new consoles, we got the Switch. I feel like I've been doing this trifecta of just like talking about each one. I'm banging each console. I'm banging Sony. I'm banging freaking Microsoft, and I'm banging Nintendo. Okay, bang bang. So Switch 2 is coming in 2025. They announced that, and it's kind of like, well, damn. So we're just not gonna talk about much about the Switch 2 or wherever it's gonna come out. But at the same time, it just seems like they're actually working on trying their best to actually, make sure this console is like, ready for that moment. But in the fiscal year, it's like we're already here in 2024, so 2025. So what am I gonna be like? I'm not gonna like. I swear, you better release it before I ever turn 40 or get gray hair or whatever. Okay, it's just life is not nice to me. Okay, let me tell you. Just please. I'm curious to see what the Switch 2 is. But I don't care because PS5, I'll just have their backs for the longest times. But at the same time, the Switch 2, I mean, it doesn't hurt to get two consoles when I'm getting paid. Am I right, kids? No, but seriously, the Switch 2 is not coming out yet. So what does that mean? Like major games coming in for this next Nintendo Direct? Because there is a Nintendo Direct that is going to be happening this month. I'm not sure when. It could be tomorrow for Lord knows. But it seems like that Switch 2 is going to be delayed for the next fiscal year. And for major games in the Switch still is kicking. Okay, even though the console's old, all enough, and pretty much the most easiest thing to emulate. I'm sorry, Nintendo. I'm just saying. It's just pretty much delayed for whatever reasons. But yeah, moving on. We got some animation news. We got a heavy pack here. It started off with one, but then I put a couple of more just to add in for the content. Madam Web sucks. Okay, there. Boom. Okay, so that's one knockdown. I keep hearing about this Madam Web thing. I'm tired of it. It's like supposed to be something within the Spider-Man universe. I'm like, okay, well, what is this? It sucked anyways, so I'm not gonna watch it. But moving on. Lovely Complex, an anime that is from like decades ago or something. I heard about this decades ago, but at the same time, I never seen it, never watched it. But they had a fan translator that actually translated for Lovely Complex, the anime, and got fired because the translator made it its own way to feed its own like agenda or just like, to feed itself in a sense. And it's kind of like, well, that's not what it's for. I'm sorry, that's not what it's for at all. It's like Lovely, when you translate, fan translation, you're supposed to translate it for the viewers to help them understand. You're translating different words to this word, to that word, and pretty much it's not that hard. Okay, despite it actually, because from what I heard, Lovely Complex had this trans character that the many characters in that show looked down upon. So maybe that's the reason why. But even though that is like something that you're not comfortable with, why do you even choose to translate for this anime in the first place? If you don't like something, you're not supposed to work on it. Like that's like the point of this. It's called fan translation. It's like you're a fan of this, and then you're translating it, but you just made it worse. So immediately they got fired off the spot. Pretty much. Whoever made this. Which I'm trying to think who did made this. It's someone that worked with Jello Apocalypse, which I am very familiar of. Jello Apocalypse. The guy that criticized about Tumblr when it was out. I still remember that video. Criticized YouTube. Criticized even Webtoon. Like I still remember that video. Criticize these different apps. Like criticize Twitter, AKX, and yeah, or someone else like in that zone, which I don't know. I just heard about it. I'm giving you half baked beans here. But other than that, I'm giving you actually a dessert. A big perfect dessert. It's not half eaten, I promise, probably. maybe a little nibble here and there. We got Rwby news. And I never thought I would talk about Rwby again, but apparently, Rwby, Volume 9 this March. I never thought it would come back at all. I was surprised. I was like, okay, sweet. But another thing, I just realized something. Rooster Teeth just canceled their whole thing with Twitter. They they just stopped, being active on Twitter or something like that. Which I'm probably like, yeah, it makes sense. Who's really caring what Rooster Teeth says at this point in Twitter, aka X. But for Rwby news, it seems like there's stuff going on within the animation space, which is a good thing. Because I've been wondering what's going on within the new world that they're in, aka Coming Home, Volume 9. I'm looking forward to it, okay? This is something I'm looking forward to, especially since Hasbin is over. Man, looking forward to another animation, and it's going to be hot. Anyways, also some bonus news. People are still talking about the whole Stellar Blade thing, and people getting canceled within the Stellar Blade. I'm surprised I didn't get canceled much with the Stellar Blade news or whatever. I mean, there was this video about, this person, trying to criticize Stellar Blade with other random people in New York or whatever. I'm not gonna name names, but it's just the cringiest thing. It's just it's for crying out loud. Here's the thing, I don't understand people when it comes down to, and it's kind of like a combat v combat kind of situation. You got people that are all about the beauty of certain anime characters, and you got people in the other side that is no, they're against that beauty. They're against, I guess, people being attractive, which, are you kidding me? Attractiveness sells. I mean, sex sells. But attractiveness, good lookingness itself, when it's not over, over the road with some other things. I think for a lot of times, at least this is what I think. If Miles Morales and if Gwen were not, and pretty much they're young, pretty much, but at the same time, if they were fat and also not attractive to look at, and when I say attractive, not very good, thing to look at a lot of times, or, kind of like me in a sense, then they wouldn't gather the numbers that they would have, the success. Because I say the same thing with Peter Parker, Spider-Man, with that Spider-Man suit looking fit, and it's logic. It's kind of well, yeah, you do all this web swinging. I guarantee you, if you were freaking 300, 400, 500 pounds, that web would just cut off. It would just be just up in the ground, like a freaking cannon meatball. I'm sorry, you're just out there. You thought you were freaking swinging Spider-Man would? Well, Spider-Man ain't freaking 300 pounds. If anything, he weighs about 50 pounds looking at him. But it helps to actually fight Dr. Octo. To help to fight other Venom and whatever, because you have to be fit for that stuff. That's just reality, people. I don't know what to tell you. A 300-pound person, a lot of times they're not gonna get the jobs. Even Boogie said himself within the jobs that you're supposed to get, and especially when it comes down to the attractiveness that sells. Freaking Chun-Li or Ryu, from Street Fighter. If they were fat and hideous looking, they got all that acne. They got the gamer leg. They got the fatness. It's not about me being discriminatory of just people that are just not perfect. Listen, none of us are perfect. But we go into these anime, this fantasy worlds. These worlds that don't exist. And we look at these attractive people, and I count as Chun-Li and Ryu attractive. Even Ryu, when he was having that dad bod, looking like he's 40, trying to hold on before he goes into 50. Still looking good. Still looking fit. Still got that, he got a couple of grays. The same for Chun-Li, but they're still looking good. At the same time, they're fit. It makes sense why they still do what they do throughout all that work. Because they are just they still build that throughout their lives. And that is somewhat realism. And a lot of times it could have been there's a lot of couple of big characters that I like. Big the Cat is one of them. And also, I'm trying to think of another big character. I mean, Eggman? These are all side characters. But at the same time, the reason why that Stellar Blade is going to be selling good when it does come out is because of how attractive the main character is. People trying to cancel that I'm tired of it. I'd never want to see a future where we just don't see anything attractive. The amount of webtoons that I read, I can't imagine ever reading these things again if they're not attractive anymore. Boyfriends, a lot of times they're not perfect, but they're attractive at the end of the day. And most, I guarantee you, would not get the readers that it wanted if it isn't attractive. I'm sorry, okay? To the other webtoons that actually features certain characters like a freaking global fish or whatever that with green skin is like and just have like just like unbelievable acne in here and there. And it's a freaking fish. I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna read that. Okay, I'm not gonna read also this couple that is like a 30-year-old man and also another man that is like freaking 60. Like ugh, I'm just like who wants to read that? I'm sorry. Some people do, but not me. And not definitely the majority. And the majority definitely don't find this video, interesting in any sense when it comes down to interviewing random New Yorkers that has nothing to do with video games, that has nothing to do with like the topic of surrounding this character from Stellar Blade. When it comes down to attractiveness in within gaming characters and stuff like that, a lot of us like attractive people in itself. Like think about the same within Stellar Blade, like the girls are also into that as well. And if there was a handsome man, if they switched the gender, I guarantee you men like me would be into that as well. You never think about that. Now thinking about it here, this is another like controversial take within this one. The LGBT community, wouldn't happen to like be where it is if it wasn't for attractive people. We are attracted to our own genders, knowing our genders, or pretty much maybe not. You have the aces here and there, but I'm talking about the whole entire LGBT plus community. Within that relies within the attractiveness of our the same gender, relies on the attractiveness of like this and that of other people within the community. And if that doesn't exist, then well, there's no point of being within the community, or there's no point of actually like I'm just imagining that. It's a very crazy analogy, concept, or whatever I just pretty much put in your mouth. But at the same time, I'm going to dig it in your mouth because I'm going to let you know that is like important. I don't show my face. I don't see myself as attractive or maybe beyond attractive or anything like that, nor I ever thought about it. And I know that there's characters that a lot of times we shouldn't think about that when it comes down to playing the games. But that's what is an essential perk within the game. Is the attractiveness of the character. It's not surprised that I advocate for most of like this as well, but I'm saying this because there is this future where all of a sudden you have to be comfortable what you like. When it comes down, and I say this within my own community as well, within the LGBT plus community, listen, I want to be with people that I'm comfortable with. I don't want to be with people that I'm not comfortable with. That's why you don't see me. When I was in the hip-hop community, I wasn't comfortable with a lot of those people. But when I'm with the LGBT plus community, within, other communities that I'm into, like, I'm more comfortable. So you got to follow what you're comfortable in. If not, it's going to wreck you. It's going to turn you into something that you don't like. Knowing that, it's going to hurt you. Other than that, I'm going to see you when I see you. One love and a peace. And yeah, I don't know if I'm getting canceled with this. I don't know what is this, okay? One love and God bless.